Do you know why most people never rise above the crowd? It's because they never learn the one skill that separates those who lead from those who follow. The leadership. Not the kind you see in titles or job descriptions, but the kind that makes people trust you, respect you, and willingly follow you. Today, I want to share with you something that changed my life. And if you truly understand it, it can change yours too. These are the very principles that turned ordinary men into extraordinary leaders. Men like Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, and even modern giants like Elon Musk. They all mastered these factors. And I promise you, by the time you finish listening, you'll know exactly what it takes to step into the role of a leader, no matter where you are right now. First, let me ask you something. Have you ever worked under someone who had no confidence? Who doubted every decision? How did it feel? Would you follow that person into a storm? Of course not, because leadership begins with courage, unwavering. Courage that comes from knowing yourself and your work. The world does not trust hesitation. It trusts conviction. People don't follow the strongest or the smartest. They follow the one who believes in their vision so strongly that others can feel it. Think about it. When Steve Jobs stood on that stage and introduced the first iPhone, the world didn't just buy a phone. They bought his confidence, his certainty that this was the future. That is what courage does. It makes people believe. But courage alone isn't enough. Imagine a leader who is bold, but has no control over himself. He snaps at people, loses his temper, makes decisions based on emotions. Would you trust him? No, because the second factor is self-control. If you cannot master yourself, you cannot lead others. Every great leader in history had moments of fire inside them, but they learned to channel it. Self-control is like the steering wheel of a powerful car. You can have the engine of ambition, but without control, you'll crash. And when you lead, people look at how you act under pressure. Do you stay calm or do you crumble? That single trait will decide whether they follow you in hard times. Now let's talk about something that every human being craves. Justice, fairness. Nobody wants to follow someone who plays favorites or bends rules. A true leader has a sharp sense of justice. You see, leadership isn't about power. It's about responsibility. It's about making decisions that may not always please everyone, but are always fair. People will forgive mistakes, but they will never forgive injustice. That's why this factor matters more than you think. In any business, in any team, if people feel you are fair, they will walk through fire for you. There's another quality that makes or breaks a leader: definiteness of decision. Let me tell you something shocking. Most people cannot decide. They hesitate, they wait, they want perfect conditions. But leaders? They decide quickly and firmly. Do they always get it right? No, but even a wrong decision is better than no decision, because action creates progress, and hesitation kills momentum. I once asked a very successful businessman what his secret was. He said, "I make more decisions in a week than most people make in a year." Think about that. The world rewards action, not endless planning. Which brings me to the next factor: definiteness of plans. A leader doesn't just dream. He plans, and then he works his plan. You've seen people who move through life without direction, reacting to circumstances instead of creating them. That's not leadership, that's drifting. A leader charts the course, even if the storm is coming. Remember this: a plan might change, but the purpose must never waver. And here's something nobody likes to hear, but it's true. Leadership demands that you do more than you're paid for. You go the extra mile. You give before you receive. The greatest leaders I've ever known were the hardest workers in the room, not because they had to, but because they understood something powerful. People don't follow words. They follow example. When you do more than you're asked, When you show that nothing is beneath you, you earn a kind of respect money can't buy. Now, let's pause for a second and think, would you follow someone with a bad attitude? Someone careless, sloppy, or arrogant? No, a pleasing personality is not about being handsome or charming. It's about respect. It's about making people feel valued, making them believe that they matter. Because here's the truth. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You see, leadership is not a title. It's not something someone gives you. It's something you earn every single day through your actions, your attitude, your character. And the beautiful thing, every single one of these qualities can be developed. You can start today. You don't need a position or a team to practice leadership. Start where you are, with your family, your friends, your colleagues. Show courage. Practice self-control. Be fair. Make decisions. Plan your life. Do more than you're paid for. Carry yourself with dignity. Understand people care for them, and never stop learning. Because the world is hungry for leaders. The kind who lead with integrity, not force. And the truth? The world will pay any price for that kind of leadership. Before we move to the next part, ask yourself this. Do I have these qualities? If not, which one will I start developing today? Because your future as a leader depends on the answer you give yourself right now. You know what separates an ordinary manager from a true leader. It's not the title, not the power, and certainly not the money. It's the ability to inspire action without using force. History screams one truth: leadership by force never lasts. Dictators have come and gone. Kings have risen and fallen. And every empire built on fear has eventually crumbled. Why? Because real leadership isn't about pushing people. It's about pulling them. It's about creating a vision so compelling that people want to follow you willingly. Think about it. Who would you rather follow? Someone who barks orders, or someone who makes you feel valued, respected, and part of something bigger than yourself? That's the essence of the new era of leadership, the era we're living in right now. It's about cooperation, not domination. It's about sharing the rewards, not hoarding them. The old school of leadership based on force and fear is dying. The world doesn't want bosses anymore. It wants partners. And here's the good news. If you understand these principles, you have the chance to become the kind of leader the world desperately needs. So, what are these factors that can make you unstoppable as a leader? We've already discussed courage, self-control, justice, decisiveness, and planning. But there's more. Something that separates the good from the great. It's the willingness to take responsibility, even when it's not your fault. Yes, read that again. Great leaders don't point fingers. They take the blame when things go wrong. Because leadership isn't about protecting your ego. It's about protecting your team. When a leader says, "The failure is mine, but the success is ours," people trust that leader for life. Here's another truth. Leadership demands mastery of details. You can't just sit at the top and give vague directions. People respect the leader who knows the game inside out, who can roll up their sleeves and get into the trenches when needed. You don't need to know everything, but you must understand the essentials better than anyone else. Because when the storm hits, your team will look at you for answers, and you'd better have them. Now let's talk about something most people ignore: personality. A pleasing personality is not about looks. It's about energy. It's about being the kind of person others want to be around. Do you radiate positivity, or do you drain the room when you walk in? People don't follow negativity. They follow energy, vision, and confidence. Work on your presence, because that presence speaks louder than your words. And finally, cooperation. This is the magic word of the new leadership era. Power is no longer about controlling others. It's about connecting with them. It's about creating win-win situations. In the future, the relationship between employer and employee will look less like a hierarchy and more like a partnership. Companies that understand this will dominate. Leaders who master this will never run out of opportunities. So, as we step into this new world, ask yourself, will you cling to the old model of force and fear, or will you embrace the new model of cooperation and consent? Because here's the truth. The world is desperate for leaders who can inspire, not intimidate. If you can become that person, if you can embody these 11 principles of leadership, then not only will opportunities chase you, you'll become the kind of leader people talk about for generations. The next part is critical. I'll reveal why most people fail at leadership even after knowing these principles, and what you can do differently to make sure you don't. Stay with me, because the next few minutes might just change the way you see leadership forever. You might be wondering, if leadership is so important, why do most people fail at it? Here's the shocking truth. Most people fail because they think leadership is about giving orders. They think it's about having authority. But true leadership has nothing to do with shouting commands from the top. It's about influence. It's about the ability to make people want to follow you. Not because they have to, but because they choose to. Let me ask you something. Have you ever worked for a boss you didn't respect? How did that feel? Did you give your best? Of course not. Nobody gives their heart to a leader they fear. People might follow orders out of fear, but they'll never give their creativity, their passion, their loyalty. And that's why the old school model of leadership is dead. Fear-based leadership kills innovation. It kills morale. It kills progress. Now let's flip the script. Think about someone who inspired you. Someone who believed in you, even when you didn't believe in yourself. How did that feel? Didn't it make you want to go the extra mile? That's the power of real leadership. It doesn't force, it fuels. It fuels ambition, trust, and commitment. And here's the most powerful truth. Leadership is not a position. It's a decision. You don't become a leader the day you get a title. You become a leader the day you decide to take responsibility. Not just for yourself, but for others. You become a leader when you stop saying, "That's not my problem," and start saying, "I'll fix this." That's the mindset shift that separates the followers from the leaders. But here's the catch. This kind of leadership requires courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. It's action in spite of fear. Every great leader you admire faced doubt, criticism, and uncertainty. But they didn't quit. They took the hard road. They said, "I will lead when others step back." And because of that, the world remembers them. Now, I want you to imagine something. Imagine two paths in front of you. One is the easy path, stay safe. Follow orders, never take risks, never take responsibility. And then there's the other path, the hard one. The one that requires courage, self-control, justice, and vision. The one that demands you to master details, build plans, and lead with integrity. Which path will you choose? If you choose the second path, let me tell you what's waiting for you. Opportunities. Real opportunities. Because the world today is starving for leaders who can inspire rather than intimidate, who can create cooperation instead of chaos. If you become that leader, you will never run out of chances to grow, to lead and to succeed. And remember this, people don't follow positions, they follow people. They follow trust. They follow strength. They follow vision. Be the person worth following, and leadership will follow you. In the next part, we'll break down the most common mistakes people make when trying to lead, and how you can avoid them to ensure your leadership journey is not just successful, but legendary. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share could be the turning point for your future. Let's uncover something most people never realize. Leadership is not about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the calm in the storm. When everyone else is panicking, the true leader steps forward, not with noise, but with certainty. That certainty inspires confidence in others, and confidence is contagious. Think about the greatest leaders in history. Did they lead because they had the biggest army? No, they led because they had the biggest vision. They saw what others couldn't. They believed in what others doubted. And here's the secret. People follow vision more than they follow orders. If your vision excites them, they will walk through fire for you. Now, let's address something critical. Leadership is built on trust. Lose trust, and you lose everything. How do you build trust? By being consistent. By doing what you say you will do. By owning your mistakes. Yes, you heard that right. Great leaders don't hide their mistakes. They take responsibility. Why? Because when you accept responsibility, you show strength. Weak people make excuses. Strong people make progress. And here's another truth most people ignore. Leadership is service. The best leaders are servants first. They ask, how can I make my team better? How can I help them win? Because when your team wins, you win. If your leadership is only about your success, you won't have followers, you'll have prisoners. And prisoners escape the first chance they get. But here's the hard part. Are you willing to go the extra mile? Real leaders don't stop at what's required. They do more than expected. They do more because they care more. And the reward? Influence. The more value you give, the more people want to follow you. It's that simple. Now, let me hit you with something that might change your perspective forever. The era of force-based leadership is over. The world doesn't need bosses. The world needs builders. The world needs leaders who unite, not divide. Leaders who create cooperation, not conflict. If you master the art of cooperative leadership, you will never run out of opportunities. Because every business, every organization, every movement is starving for people like you. But here's the golden question. Are you ready? Are you ready to develop the 11 factors of leadership? Because without them, your success is temporary. With them, your success is inevitable. Imagine this, a future where you're not just working a job, you're leading a movement, where your influence shapes lives, where your name becomes synonymous with progress, respect, and vision. That future is possible, but it won't happen by accident. It starts today. It starts with a decision. Will you stay a follower or rise as a leader? Don't forget this. Leadership isn't given. It's earned. Every day through courage, self-control, fairness, and action. If you commit to this path, nothing can stop you. The world is waiting. The question is, are you ready to lead? Stay with me because in the next section, we're breaking down practical steps, specific actions you can take today to begin your leadership journey. This is where theory turns into reality. Don't miss it. You've learned the traits that make a leader stand apart. But let me leave you with something that could change your entire life. If you act on it right now, listen carefully because what I'm about to share is not theory. It's the ultimate truth that separates leaders from followers. There is one sentence I want you to engrave in your mind. The world pays you in proportion to the value you bring, and value is created only through leadership. Think about this for a moment. Everything around you, the companies, the industries, the great innovations were all born from leadership. Not followers, not dreamers, but doers who had the courage to lead. And here's the hard truth. Leadership is not for everyone. It demands more than talent, more than education, more than ambition. It demands unwavering courage, definiteness of decision, and an obsession with growth. Most people never rise above mediocrity because they lack the fire to lead. They are comfortable following someone else's plan. But tell me, are you comfortable giving your entire life to building someone else's dream? No, you were born for more. Leadership begins with a choice, a bold, deliberate decision that you will never again settle for less. And here's the good news. Leadership is a skill. You can develop it, sharpen it, and master it, but only if you're willing to pay the price. So what's the price? It's the price of discipline. The price of facing rejection. The price of staying consistent when everyone else quits. The price of doing more than you are paid for. That's what separates a leader from the crowd. And let me tell you this. Every great leader you admire, Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison, started exactly where you are now. Ordinary people with ordinary circumstances who made one extraordinary decision to lead. So here's what I want you to do right now. Pause and ask yourself, am I ready to lead? If your answer is yes, then don't wait for the perfect time. There is no perfect time. There is only now. Start today by building these qualities in yourself. Speak with confidence, even when you feel afraid. Take responsibility, even when it's hard. Learn from others, but never lose your own vision. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, not those who keep you comfortable. Because comfort is the enemy of growth. And if you stay comfortable, you'll stay a follower forever. But if you embrace discomfort, if you choose to grow, if you commit to becoming the best version of yourself, you won't just change your life. You'll change the lives of everyone who follows you. And here's something no one tells you. Leadership is not about power, it's about service. The greatest leaders are the greatest servants. They lift others, they create opportunities, and they lead with integrity. That's why they are remembered long after they're gone. So, if you truly want to leave your mark, stop waiting, stop doubting, stop hiding behind excuses. Decide today that you will lead. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. And when you make that decision, don't whisper it. Declare it. Write it down. Say it out loud. Because the world does not reward wishes. It rewards action. This is your moment. This is your time. Lead with courage, lead with conviction, and the world will follow you.